Good morning and happy Easter, everyone. My name is Michael Bartlett, and I'm a metaphysical astrologer. I'm going to be talking about the forecast for the month of April. It's going to be a really packed month. If you like what I'm saying here, please hit like, please subscribe, please ask your friends to join, please share with your friends. This is actually my condensed version. I do a little more of an in-depth version for my Patreon supporters. You may want to consider, if you'd like to consider doing that, joining my Patreon subscribers, please let me know. I'd be happy to let you know. Just contact me at michael@coremichael.com, or you can go to my website, coremichael.com. All right, of course, is today, actually today the 4th, good old Mercury is moving from the liminal space of Pisces. Maybe communication's been a little bit confusing and things haven't made a lot of sense, or you've been a little more emotional or expressing your emotions a little more than usual. So now we can see that Mercury has moved into Aries and is joining the rest of the gang, so to speak, where we have Chiron, Sun, and Venus. So it's quite a little grouping there on there. So we're having quite an instinctual, kind of a sense of going on about doing things, right? This is springtime, right? There's a time of coming forth, bursting forth with new ideas. So the way we shine out, the way we look at our values, maybe our wounds, and our communications can be maybe a little bit more direct, maybe need to be brought to a point so that people understand. And I also want to give a shout out to Christine Cianci, the creator of our beautiful artwork that we're seeing here today of Astro Theater. We did a number of years ago and like to use as a way of explaining astrology and kind of giving imagery. So here we have everyone kind of dressed up in that Aries energy, ready to go out there and do battle, go out there and do the things that they need to do to clear the way for what they want. That's kind of like the theme that's going on today. And here it is, Easter. And this actually should say April 4th. Instead of April 3rd, but we'll go on from there. On the 9th of April, we have Mars, who is hanging out in Gemini, so busy doing things, squaring Neptune. This is going to provide maybe a little bit of, maybe your desire to get things done are going to be a little thwarted. Maybe the ways in which you want to, maybe in your driving, there might be a little bit more traffic or congestion, or maybe you'll decide that you just want to stay home and maybe not drive, or maybe, it's like, check in with your feelings, check in and see what you're feeling about things and see if it's really what you want to do. What's nice on the esoteric level, this is about your devotion. So it's a good time to question, what are you devoting your energies to? What are you putting your focus on? And are they giving you the rewards you're seeking? And then on the 11th, you have a new moon and Venus squaring Pluto. That's not really easy. This can bring up issues around our relationships. This can bring, we can see here on the left, Venus here dressed up in her Aries garb, and Pluto there on the right in his business office, Capricorn, doing business from behind the scenes. So, this might be a time where we're looking at changing our ways of looking at things. As we remember, this is also, we have all, in addition to all these other, in addition to all these other, in addition to this square, of course, we have Sun, Mercury, and Chiron there in Aries as well. So kind of like almost like a will against the people. So I wouldn't be surprised if we might see maybe another capital, crash in or something, or a group of people kind of doing some sort of protesting to bring awareness to the things that are maybe being done behind the scenes and maybe done without our choices and our understandings. It's a good opportunity for us also at this time to review what our relationships are. What do our relationships need an adjustment? Do we need to start looking at new ways of relating to one another? Do we need to change our values? Then on the 14th, good old Venus is going to be moving out of Aries, out of her little dressing room, out of all that instinctual energy, and moving into her favorite, one of her 2 favorite signs where she rules, Taurus, where we also already have Uranus. So, Venus loves that. It's a time to kind of settle down a little bit. That forward moving action of our values and questioning things might, maybe need to have time to review and to feel into things. Maybe sit back on the sofa and have a slice of chocolate cake and, or whatever other indulgence that makes you feel good and gives you the opportunity to review and contemplate. Taurus is the sign of the bull. So when you think about it, chewing one's cud is really good in there. Uranus is in there too. So Uranus is going to kind of help kind of tickle Venus a little bit and say, hey, are you doing the right thing? Is this really what you want? Are these the values you want? Great time of review, as I said before. Then on the 16th, we have Sun squaring Pluto. This is, again, this can be power plays. This can be, all sorts of interesting issues. This is going, from Capricorn to the sign of Aries. So it's about, structures and our sense of self. Are we doing the things that we want? Are we, and it's kind of interesting because, this is kind of maybe a time when a lot of us are going to be having to go back to work, right? Dealing with traffic, dealing with coworkers, dealing with other human beings in a way we haven't before. This is going to be kind of a challenging time as we get back into ramping up our ways of relating to one another. Then on the 17th, that Mercury is going to come up there and be conjunct the sun, and therefore also be squaring Pluto. Opportunities for speaking one's mind, as well as maybe hearing things you don't really want to hear. Opportunities to, but be really careful. I mean, this is times when, things can get really kind of ugly and not pretty. And again, power plays, so this can really set up a time for maybe people really speaking their minds out in public about the dark state, or, or their unhappiness about, what side of political party they're on and what needs to be expressed. Then on the 18th, of course, all these dates are dependent upon where you are on the planet. Sun and Mercury in Aries move into Taurus. So here we have, this big old focus of energy now in Taurus. Uranus is already there. Venus is already there, of course. And then on the 22nd, Venus is going to be conjunct Uranus. Another really great opportunity. What are our values? It's going to be interesting, to see all this focus here in Taurus. And you see this imagery of like a bank vault and gold bars and a gold calf behind, like what are we honoring? What are we doing? Be interesting to see what happens during this time in the stock market. I think we're in for, kind of some readjusting times. Uranus and Venus is really in Taurus, especially a change of form in our values. Do we really want to invest in these, in oil companies, so to speak, as an example, maybe we want to start investing more in socially aware companies, maybe that aren't paying as big a dividends, but over the long haul. Maybe we want to start investing in renewable resources, wind and solar and other types of turbine, maybe through water and other things that our Earth naturally creates, rather than mining these minerals from the Earth that are destroying our atmosphere and creating such havoc on our planet at this time. Then on the 23rd, good old Mars, who has been having fun, acting as a little hummingbird, going around pollinating or taking nectar from all of the flowers, probably actually pollinating a lot of things too, of course. And actually pollinating the flowers, because that is one of the aspects of it, because it is spring, this is the time when all the flowers are bursting forth, and here in the Northern Hemisphere in the West. So on the 23rd, he moves out of one of these really active signs of Gemini and moves into not a really kind of an ideal place for Mars, but he becomes a homebody, so it's like you think of the rebel, you think of, the jock in high school who now is settled down. It's a very different experience. You can kind of see that look on his face. He's not too happy about it, but this is a different phase. This is a different type of experience, a different type of relating. So when Mars moves from active outer-oriented Gemini into inward security-seeking Cancer, it can become a little more protective. So, hopefully maybe during this time, maybe we'll see some changes in the laws here in the United States around gun laws. Maybe there will be some more, there's either going to be escalation, from that Mars and Gemini, of course, that's Mars and Gemini, right? And then going into Cancer, oh my gosh, what has happened? How do we take care of ourselves? And because Cancer is really self-care, right? So if we take care of ourselves, then we can begin to understand about taking care of others. Would any of us want to get that phone call? And some of us unfortunately have received a phone call where one of our family members has been shot or killed through a truly unnecessary circumstance. That's not anything anyone should have to deal with. You know, how do we deal with it so none of us have to deal with that again? Then on the 24th of April, we already have the loaded house, as we know, there in Taurus. Mercury then is conjunct Uranus. Mercury and Uranus have a very interesting kind of relationship. Before Uranus was discovered, the ancients saw Mercury as an example of Uranus. So it's kind of like having a lower and higher octave of these energies playing with one another. But it's in Earth, you know, it's in very fixed Earth, in Taurus. So it's like, you know, how do we, you know, it's manure disturbers, I would say, would be, you know, one good way of putting this, you know, kind of a configuration. So it's like, you know, what can we do? You know, let's go and raid. You know, this might be a really interesting time for some major hacking situation to happen, right? You know, going in and the raiding of the vault, so to speak. I wonder why these hackers haven't done anything where they've gone in and erased credit card debt or mortgage debt or anything like that. It's going to be interesting when those sorts of things happen. I'm also, you know, it's one of these kind of things that's very interesting, and I just heard mention of it last night on the television, is Biden's considering, you know, if he has the power and authority to eradicate student debt. This would be an example of Uranus, Mercury, Venus and Sun all in Taurus saying, hey, we need to find a new way to be in relationship to resources. We need to share, we need to make it possible and available. Right now, there are so many individuals who have astronomical school debt that that's preventing them from going forth and buying homes. And so, you know, when that, you know, that's already having a sort of an effect on things. And so as these individuals are unable to buy homes, you know, they're stuck in these situations, you know, it's not providing the economy and themselves to grow in a healthy manner. Getting rid of this debt so that people can buy a home and be, you know, be part of this, the American dream, so to speak, or just the human dream of being secure, which is one of Taurus's desires, is really crucial at this time. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Again, stock market issues. Saturn, of course, on the 25th of April, is going to be squaring that Uranus and Venus energy. We have to also remember Jupiter is there as well. Mercury is going to be there. So this is 5 planets involved with a square. Uranus, we the people, welcome members, you can see here, you know, up here at the top, you know, it's about organizations and communities and groups, you know, societies. And here's Taurus, you know, people are holding the money and everything, but it's, you know, it's 2 of the closest planets to us, right? Mercury and Venus. So it's about the ways in which we communicate and the ways in which we move and process. Venus, the ways we have our values and relationships that I've spoken about before. And Uranus, you know, that rebel, that evolution towards something better in the fixed sign of Taurus. These are 2 fixed signs, Aquarius and Taurus. It's like, you know, how do we break through and find new ways of having a higher relationship with one another that benefits everyone? These are the questions that are going to be asked, I believe, in this month. Then on the 27th, we get old Pluto in Capricorn starting his retrograde motion. This will give an opportunity for almost, you know, for like the powers that be to kind of take some time for about 6 months and review things. So it'll be interesting to see what happens as Pluto does his retrograde backwards motion from where we're looking from our planet. That's what retrograde motions are about. It's that view of like when you're driving on the freeway and you're going a little faster than the car next to you, it appears that that other car is backwards, but it's just a difference in the speeds. So that's it for the month of April. Again, please feel free to check me out on my website. I'm available for readings, talks, mentoring. Again, thank you, Christine, for your wonderful artwork. It's a pleasure here speaking to all of you once again. Please hit the like button. Please share with your friends. And please consider becoming a Patreon patron for me and receive the extended version of this each month. Thank you so much and have a great day.